Hello trainers, Professor Palm here, and in the world of Pokemon, there are 18 different Pokemon typings. However, one of them that mysteriously isn't there is sound typing. Now I know a lot of the Pokemon are usually element based or have to do with something that's similar to an element, but it begs the question, why is there no such thing as sound type Pokemon? There are a bunch of sound based moves. Generation 1 introduced Growl, Roar, Screech, and even Supersonic. There are even other sound-based moves that have been introduced in other regions. They're usually classified as normal type moves, but I think sound would be a great typing to be introduced. There are some sound moves that are not normal typing, like Oceanic Opera, Snarl, and Disarming Voice, which are water, dark, and fairy type moves. It still does beg the question, why is sound not a Pokemon typing, and how can there not be any sound type Pokemon out there? In Gen 2, we were introduced to Dark and Steel type Pokemon, and in Gen 6, Fairy type also joined the group. So, it's possible that maybe in Gen 10 or a future generation, we'll get another Pokemon typing. And if you ask me, I know the perfect candidates that would be great for sound Pokemon, and they would be Whismur, Loudred, and the big voice Pokemon itself, Exploud. These are a perfect group to be classified as sound type Pokemon. The reason I would say that these three Pokemon would be the perfect candidates to be the first sound type Pokemon is because these Pokemon learn more sound-based moves than any Pokemon alive. Exploud is currently the only Pokemon that can learn 11 sound-based moves. Isn't that incredible? Also, these Pokemon fight using sound waves rather than going with their physical attacks. They do physical attacks if they need to, but most of the moves they learn are sound-based. And hey, they're pretty cool looking, and using those sound-based attacks is pretty unique, as every Pokemon has a unique power. What's really cool about this line is it goes the way sound waves go. It starts off very, very soft and has a little whisper with Whismur. It gets a little bit louder with Loudred, and it turns into a sound wave explosion with Exploud. Yeah, sorry about that. Couldn't resist. I wanted to scream that out just to show that's how sound waves go. Soft, and then extremely loud. For those of you who really like listening to loud music, if you like beatboxing, or you really just like screaming and shouting, then these three Pokemon are ideal for a trainer like you. But before we begin, I want to give a huge thanks to Tech Renova for my incredible shirt for this video, the Firebird Within. If you like the shirts that I wear in most of my videos, you can buy them off Etsy. I hope that you like this one's design. I think this is a really cool design. I just want to say that I'm not sponsored by her, but I really do want to give her the business she deserves, and I really do want to show my gratitude for wearing these shirts, because I think that they are really well made, and I think that someone like her deserves the best for all of us. So please buy a shirt from her, and tell her Professor Palm sent you. You'll look great in them, and hey, you can probably find one of your favorite Pokemon on one of these shirts. So, with that said, why don't we talk about these sound waves Pokemon? And let's do it like the Temptation song, Shout. And we'll start a little bit softer now with the little whisper itself, Little Whismur. When we start with Whismur, the Whisper Pokemon, looking at this Pokemon, it looks like a little chubby bunny. It also has cute little black holes on its head, which it hears from. It also has those adorable little plus-shape eyes. What's funny about this Pokemon is it's a very timid and a very easily startable creature. You can approach it if you want, but it's a bad idea too. However, I will tell you that this Pokemon is very, very timid. In fact, this Pokemon is very quiet, that its voice sounds like murmurs. In fact, this Pokemon is that quiet, its footsteps barely make a sound. So you could be standing still and this Pokemon could walk by you and you wouldn't even notice. However, approaching this Pokemon carelessly can be a very deadly mistake. I did tell you it was timid, and it's very hard to hear as its voice sounds like murmurs. However, when this Pokemon starts crying because of danger, it makes a sound so powerful it's as equal to hearing a jet turbine. Not only can Whismur's cry shatter your eardrums and possibly make you go deaf, it could actually be the thing that could end your life. Wow, for a Pokemon that's so little, it's got some vocal cords as deadly as Black Bolt of the Inhumans. Whismur's cry is so powerful that its sound waves have the ability to break glass over a mile away. Just like an infant, Whismur cannot be stopped and its voice can really, really drive you insane. Also, unlike infants that have the ability to go to sleep, this Pokemon has to put itself to sleep after it goes to sleep of exhaustion with its loud voice. And this Pokemon also has the ability Soundproof, so its loud crying doesn't hurt it, but it goes to sleep because of the energy loss. Even if you're not close by Whismur, you can still hear this Pokemon crying for over a mile away. And even if you don't meet your end, but you're close by this Pokemon, you will get an ear-splitting headache that could last the entire day. Wow. I understand now what a lot of our parents went through when they raised us. And if you want to be a parent, or at least practice with an infant, maybe this would be a good Pokemon to try with. Wow, for a little Pokemon, it sure can be a major headache to deal with, especially when this Pokemon uses a move like Uproar. I don't even want to think about how much that could hurt my ears. So, why don't we crank up the volume and we evolve our little Whismur into the Pokemon who likes to scream and shout. Give it up for the big screamer itself, Loudred. Loudred, the big voice Pokemon, is a loudmouth, and it really likes to put itself out there. You see, after it's evolved, it becomes much more brave. You see, this Pokemon is no longer as shy as it was when it was a Whismur. While its mouth has a lot of volume that comes out, its two big ears act as its speaker system. And if you look on Loudred's back, it looks like as if sound waves are coming out of its tail. But I guess you could also say it looks like it has a full Wi-Fi signal as well. Maybe being close by this Pokemon could give us great Wi-Fi. Loudred have the ability to generate music. If you saw in the movie Detective Pikachu, you could see that some of these Loudred made their own dubstep. Maybe being a Pokemon musician in the future would be kind of fun. After all, you have this Pokemon to help you out with, and maybe even helping you for freestyle or even rapping. Maybe even beatboxing would be fun with this Pokemon. During mating season, different gender Loudred have fights, but unlike Pokemon who usually have fights to see who's the strongest, Loudred instead engage in shouting matches to please the opposite gender, and whichever one is the loudest usually wins. When looking at Loudred, you could see that its mouth takes up a lot of its body, and it needs a very big mouth after all. This Pokemon has a lot of vocal attacks that come out of there, and it also learns great moves like Crunch and Bite. But looking at that ginormous mouth, it really makes me think that this is a Pokemon that could eat a triple Krabby Patty Deluxe in a single bite. Unlike Whismur, who can oftentimes scream and you'll never know when it's going to, Loudred, on the other hand, give us a little bit of an opportunity to get out of here before it starts screaming. You see, this Pokemon, to charge up, begins stomping its feet onto the ground. So you see, this Pokemon has a way of generating itself to start screaming. Oh, and it doesn't stop stomping its feet when it is screaming. It still does it, and it's like it's having a meltdown, like it's a little toddler who isn't getting any candy. When Loudred uses any sound-based moves, or even screams or shouts, its ultrasonic sound waves can equal that of a hurricane's winds. This Pokemon has the ability to blow humans and Pokemon back. It can destroy an entire house, or it could even flip over a huge cargo truck with just one scream. However, the negativity of this Pokemon screaming causes it to have a very hoarse voice, and it becomes very, very quiet. It could even lose its own hearing, despite the fact that this Pokemon has the ability Soundproof. So please be careful around this Pokemon. Even if it looks like it's going to scream, sometimes it's taking a few days off to recharge its vocal cords. After all, it could scream for almost an hour, and it could still go without breathing. Oh, and you can even hear this Pokemon even if you're a couple miles away because of its powerful voice. When Loudred are not speaking because of their hoarse voices, some Pokemon and trainers consider this a weak point of them, and it makes them easier to catch and easier to take on in a battle. But it's also easier to walk by because they won't shout or scream, and you won't have to worry about getting a splitting headache. While Loudred are pretty loud Pokemon, and they do bring a lot of dubstep as well as a lot of cool music around, I think it's time that we crank the volume to maximum. So, let's bring in the real screamer itself. Here comes the sonic boom. Let's take a look and talk all about Exploud. Exploud, the loud noise Pokemon, is what you get not only when you crank the volume up to danger, but when you crank the volume up to the level that says, "You're insane!" Mainly level 11. And this is also one of my favorite Pokemon of all time as well. If you're one of those people who likes to beatbox, who likes to rap, who likes to do freestyle, or really likes to listen to dubstep, this Pokemon is just like Loudred, and it's definitely one you would want on your corner. However, unlike Loudred, Exploud have the ability to generate sounds like a pipe organ and just like a piano. In fact, this is a Pokemon that a lot of musicians use because it has the ability to make sound waves sound even better, especially if it's going on with an opera or an orchestra. And speaking of both of those things, Exploud surprisingly have very good singing voices. Yeah, it's kind of hard to believe, but if you really hear this Pokemon sing, it's got a surprisingly great voice to listen to. If you look at Exploud's body, you can see that this Pokemon has a ton of sound wave tubes. But these tubes aren't only used for attacking and for music. You see, these tubes help Exploud communicate its feelings. That's right, it can talk to trainers, Pokemon, and even other Exploud by emitting whistle-like sounds from the tubes all over its body. In fact, they can even all make different sounds for what it's feeling. The facial expressions aren't only for what it needs to say, its tubes and sound waves say a lot about it. Other than using its sound wave tubes to make noise, Exploud also makes a lot of noise using its mouth, just like its previous evolutions. It's got a ginormous mouth. Just like with what I said about Loudred eating a triple Krabby Patty Deluxe in a single bite, Loudred could probably eat 10 of those in a single bite, let alone could probably go to any fast food restaurant and eat everything off the menu with just one gulp. Oh, and let's not talk about how big that bite can be. I think Psychic Pokemon and even Ghost Pokemon alike should be very scared of this Pokemon, especially when it's angry. While Exploud is a pretty cool Pokemon, when this Pokemon is angry, irate, cranky, or even in the mood to battle, it truly means business. While Whismur and Loudred have very obnoxious screams and cries, it comes nothing close to how powerful the sound waves Exploud will make. When Exploud lets out a roar or even a sound-based move, it can shake the ground like an earthquake has struck. In fact, its vocal cords are so powerful, people and Pokemon alike can hear this Pokemon over 6 miles away. Shame not another Exploud, Loudred, or even a Whismur could hear it, because those Pokemon have soundproof as their ability. Despite this Pokemon's appearance, it's actually very limber, and it can run very fast. Oh, even if you're a couple miles away, hearing this Pokemon running after you with its screams can definitely spell doomsday for you. A really cool thing about this Pokemon, if you look at its back, you can see that it looks like volume coming out of both of its dorsal holes. I also want to tell you that this Pokemon can actually generate force fields with the sound waves. In fact, this Pokemon not only can control which notes come out of any of its tubes, it can actually push them all together to make a ginormous sound explosion. While it's never been seen in the anime, any of the manga, or even the games, it's highly possible you could actually make this Pokemon fly with the right environment. If you think very carefully of the X-Men Banshee as well as Siren, if this thing had wings, it could actually fly using sound waves. Yeah, the right sound waves and the right volume can actually make this Pokemon fly because of its tubes and even its double tail tubes. You see, those could act as jets. Most people say that actions speak louder than words. However, in this case, I'd say these Pokemon's words speak louder than actions, because these Pokemon use their voices as their weapon. There are some Pokemon that rely on strength, some that rely on defense. It's these guys that rely on their voices and their mouths as their weapon, which is pretty cool, as we don't have a lot of Pokemon that do that in the world. It is kind of cool to think about this whole evolution is very similar to sound waves, how it starts off as something very soft, like a whisper, and then becomes a sound wave explosion with Exploud, which is kind of cool to see how a sound wave travels from place to place. But you should also be wary of these Pokemon, because altogether, these guys have the ability to wipe out an entire city block with just one scream together. While a lot of people in Pokemon look at this Pokemon in fear, there actually is a good lining to this Pokemon. A big silver lining, if you will. You see, like I said that Exploud has a surprisingly great voice, these Pokemon make fantastic music teachers. If you have one, they can teach you the right way to hit a chord or even get a great sound to generate from your instrument you're playing. So those of you who want to be an aspiring musician, having this Pokemon with you can really benefit you. In fact, you could become one of the greatest musicians of all time because you know the right chords and the right way to perform with the right sound. For those of you who really like these Pokemon but really don't like the sounds they make, I have some good news for you. You can make them scream as long as they want to, and then their voices will be lost for a little bit of time. But if you really like their voices, just be careful and maintain their vocal cords because they use them a lot. However, if you're going against one of these and you really fear about the voice it makes, make sure you have a Pokemon with the move Throat Chop. If you didn't know, Throat Chop knocks out the ability for a Pokemon to use a sound-based move for 3 turns. So having that on hand could also come in handy, especially having these Pokemon go enraged. They cry and scream like a toddler having a meltdown, so please be wary of that. Living with these Pokemon is also another story. While I said that they can cause a lot of headaches, they can also make a grocery bill go to the maximum, because looking at their mouths, these guys eat a lot. There's a common saying that people that live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Well, in the world of Pokemon, I have a better saying. Those who live in glass houses shouldn't own an Exploud, a Loudred, or a Whismur. Jeez. These Pokemon shouting and screaming gives me a ginormous headache. But to be honest, I still really do like them, and they are some of my all-time favorite Pokemon that were introduced in Gen 3. Like I said before, the most unique thing about these is these Pokemon rely on using screaming, yelling, shouting, and even the sound waves to protect and even fight with. That's pretty cool, since not a lot of other Pokemon do that, so it makes these guys unique. If you want to become a musician, or you really like rapping, or you really like beatboxing, if you really like death metal or listening to really loud music, then I'd say that these are the ideal Pokemon for you, my dear trainer, because these Pokemon have the ability to generate music. So you don't have to go to the store, and you don't have to turn on the internet or even do anything with your phone. You can just use these Pokemon and they'll give you the blasting beat you need. And also, they can teach you a lot about music and how to make you a better musician. Yeah, so maybe capture one of these outside instead of having to pay a lot of money for music lessons. Well, you still may need those. You probably could use these Pokemon to help you with sound waves and how to get a better sound out of your instruments. Do you think sound typing should become a new Pokemon typing in the future, or do you think that everything's okay as it is? I really would love to know. I also want to know if you've ever gone on a journey with these Pokemon, because in every game that I can catch these Pokemon, I always go on a journey with them. It's really fun to start off with a tiny little Whisper becoming a Soundwave explosion. I know I said that before, but it really is such a cool evolution that this Pokemon goes through. Before I end this video, I really want to tell all of you that starting next month is Summer Splash. That's right, because June starts the summer, and a lot of us are doing a lot of fun things for the summer, especially going to the beach, maybe swimming, or having little super soaker fights. I thought that this would be a perfect month to talk all about water-type Pokemon. So, for the month of June, we're doing Summer Splash, just like what I did with March Meltdown. For Summer Splash, I'm going to have videos coming out on Wednesday and Saturdays. I also want to alert you that I have a birthday special coming out on my birthday, as well as a Father's Day special. So I hope that you all tune in and you're excited to start the summer off at the pool, at the beach, or at least in the water. Because surf's up, dude! So if you liked what you saw, please leave a like. If you have an idea that you want to be turned into a video, or you want to give me any feedback, please comment. Also, please feel free to comment if you have a Pokemon that's a water type that you want me to cover for Summer Splash. I really am excited to hear what you guys have to say about that, and I hope that you're ready for June 1st. That's when it's going to begin. Just like in March Meltdown, I'm going to have them both come out at 11 a.m., so please tune in for that. And as always, if you like what you saw and you'd like to see any more, please hit that subscribe button. Please stay tuned for June 1st for the beginning of Summer Splash. Thanks for watching. Palm out.